Morning, Diane. Morning, Cindy. Morning, Sindhu. Morning, Bella and Gautam. Morning, Audrey and John. All right, let's get started. Page 9. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato dasa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tasaramagamanang sampunang. Panatipata veramani sikkapadang samadhiyami. Adinnadana veramani sikkapadang samadhiyami. Kamesu michachara veramani sikapadang samadhiyami. Musavada veramani sikapadang samadhiyami. Sura Meria Majjapamadhatana Veramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami. Tisiranena Sadding Panchasilang Dhammang Samadhiyatva Sadhukang Surakatang Katva Appamadena Sampadeta Bang. Silena Sukating Yanti, Silena Bhoga Sampada, Silena Nibbuting Yanti, Tasma Silang Visodaye. All right. Page 23. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho. Vidya charana sampano sugato loka vidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati satta deva manusanang buddho bhagavati. Svakato bhagavata dhammo sanditiko akaliko ehipassako panayako pachatang vedatabbo vinyuhiti. Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sango ujupatipanno bhagavato savaka sango nyayapatipanno bhagavato savaka sango samichipatipanno bhagavato savaka sango yadidang chattari purissa yugani yatta purissa puggala. Esa bhagavato savaka sango ahuneyo pahuneyo dakkineyo anjali karaniyo anuttarang punya katang lokasati. Buddho susuddho karuna mahannavo chanta suddha baranyana lochano. Lokassa papu pakile sagatako vandami buddhang ahammadarena tang. Namo te purisa janya, namo te purisuttama. Sadeva kasming lokasming natite patipuggalo. Damo padipo viyatassu sattu no yo maggapaka matabeda binnako. Lokuttaro yo chatharatta dippano vandami dhammang ahammadarena tang. Yo cha dhammam abhinyaya dhammam anyaya pandito. Rahadova nivato cha anejo vupasammati. Ye sang dhamma asamutta parivade sunaniyare. Te sambuddha sammadanya charanti visame samang. Ye kechiyo sadhaloke vidjanti vividhabahu. Dhammo sada samannati etang pivita bhikkavo. Dhammo sadang pivitvana ajara maranasiyang. Bhavayitva chapasitva nibbutta uppadikkaye. Sango sukata byatikatti sannito yoditta santo sugatana bodako. Lolapahino ariyo sumedaso vandami sangang ahammadarena tang. Suko buddhana mupado suka sadhamma desana. Suka sangassa samaggi samagganang taposuko. Bahungve saranang yanti pabbatani vanani cha. Aramaruka Chetyani Manusa Bayatajita Netanko Seranang Kemang Netang Seranang Uttamang Netang Seranang Agamma Sabbaduka Pamuchati Yocha Buddhancha Dhammancha Sanghancha Saranangato Chattari Ariya Satchani Samappanyaya Passati Dukkam Dukka Samuppadang Dukkassa Cha Atikkamang Ariyanchitangikam Maggam Dukkupasamagaminang Etang ko serenang kemang, etang serenang uttamang, etang serenang agamma sabbadukka pamucchati. Himaya dhamma nudhamma patipattiya buddhang pujemi. Himaya dhamma nudhamma patipattiya dhammang pujemi. Himaya dhamma nudhamma patipattiya sanghang pujemi. Mano Pubangama Dhamma Mano Setta Mano Maya Manasa Che Paduttena Basativa Karotiva Tatonang Dukam Anveti Chakkang Va Vahato Padang Mano Pubangama Dhamma Mano Setta Mano Maya Manasa Che Pasanena Basativa Karotiva Tatonang Sukam Anveti Chaya Va Anapayani Anicca vata sankara upadavaya dhamino upajitva nirujanti te sangvu pasumo suko sabba papassa akaranang kusalasa upasampada sachitta paryodapanang etang buddhana sasanang kanti paramang tapotitika nibbanang paramang vadanti buddha nahi pabbajito pahurhugati samanohoti parang viheta yanto anupavado anupagato patimeo kecha mattanyuta cha battasming pantan cha sayanasanang arichitte cha ayogo etang buddhana sasanang. Himina punya kamena upajaya gunuttara achariyupakara cha mata pita piya mamang suryo chandimaraja gunavanta narapicha Brahma Maharaja Indacha Lokapala cha Devata Yamo Mitta Manusa cha Majhata Verikapicha Sabbe Satta Sukhi Hontu Punyani Pakatani Me Sukang cha Tividhang Dentu Kepang Papetu Vomatang Imena Punya Kamena Imena Udasena cha Kepahang Sulabhe Cheva Tanupadana Chedanang Ye santane hina dhamma yava nibbana to mamang na santu sabbada yeva yatta jato bave bave ujucetto satipanyo sale ko viryavamino mara labantuno kasang kattuncha viryesume Buddha di pavaro nato dhammo nato varuttamo nato pacekka sambuddho sango nato taro mamang Teso tamanubhavena maroka sanglabantuma imena punya kamena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya dukkha patta chani dukkha baya patta chani baya sokha patta chani sokha hontu sabbe pipaniyo Bhavagupadaya avichihatato etantare sattakayupapanna rupi arupi cha asanya sanyano dukkha pamuchantu pusantu nibbuting. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. All right, continuing through to Mahasatipatthana for our secondary chanting. Page 205. Magga Satcha Nideso. Those of you who've just joined, if you're joining for the first time and you don't have the chanting book, you can find it in the description, page 205. Katamancha bhikkave dukkha nirodha ghamani patipada arya satchang ayang eva aryo atangiko maggo seyati dang samaditti samasankappo samavacha samakammanto samaajivo samavayamo samasati samasamadhi katamacha bhikkave samaditti Yanko bhikkave dukke jnanang dukkha samudaya jnanang dukkha nirodhe jnanang dukkha nirodha ghamaniya patipadaya jnanang ayang vucchati bhikkave sammaditti Katamocha bhikkave sammasankappo nekkamma sankappo avyapada sankappo avihingsa sankappo ayang vucchati bhikkave sammasankappo Katamacha bhikkave sammavacha musavada veramani pisunaya vachaya veramani parussaya vachaya veramani sampappalapa veramani ayang vucchati bhikkave sammasa vacha Katamocha bhikkave samma kammanto panatipata veramani adinna dana veramani Kame sumichachara veramani ayang vucchati bhikkave sammakammanto katamo cha bhikkave samma ajivo iddha bhikkave arya savako micha ajivang pahaya samma ajivena jivakang kapeti ayang vucchati bhikkave samma ajivo Katamocha bhikkave sammavayamo iddha bhikkave bhikkhu anupananang papakanang kusalanang dhammanang anupadaya chandang janeti vayamati viryang arabbati chittang paganhati padahati upannanang papakanang kusalanang dhammanang pahanaya Chandang janeti vayamati viryang arabbati chittang paganhati padahati anupannanang kusalanang dhammanang upadaya chandang janeti vayamati viryang arabbati chittang paganhati padahati uppannanang kusalanang dhammanang tittiya asamosaya bhiyo Bhavaya vipulaya bhavanaya paripurya chandang janeti vayamati viryang arabbati chittang paganhati padahati ayang vucchati bhikkave sammavayamo. All right, English. Exposition of the truth of the path. And what, bhikkhus, is the noble truth of the way leading to the cessation of suffering? It is just this Noble Eightfold Path, that is, right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. And what, bhikkhus, is right view? Knowledge of suffering, knowledge of the origin of suffering, knowledge of the cessation of suffering, and knowledge of the way leading to the cessation of suffering. This is called right view. And what is, bhikkhus, is right intention. Intention of renunciation, intention of non-ill will, and intention of non-cruelty. This is called intention. And what, bhikkhus, is right speech? Abstaining from false speech, abstaining from divisive speech, abstaining from harsh speech, abstaining from idle chatter. This is called right speech. And what, bhikkhus, is right action? Abstaining from the destruction of life, abstaining from taking what is not given, and abstaining from sexual misconduct. This is called right action. And what, bhikkhus, is right livelihood? Here a noble disciple, having abandoned wrong livelihood, earns his living by right livelihood. This is called right livelihood. And what, bhikkhus, is right effort? Here a bhikkhu generates the will for non-arising of unarisen, evil, unwholesome states, and he makes an effort, arouses energy, applies his mind, and strives. He generates the will to abandon arisen, evil, unwholesome states. He makes an effort, arouses energy, applies his mind, and strives. He generates the will for the arising of unarisen, wholesome states. He makes an effort, arouses energy, applies his mind, and strives. He generates the will to maintain arisen, wholesome states, to prevent their decline, to increase, expand, and fulfill them by development. He makes an effort, arouses energy, applies his mind, and strives. This is called right effort. All right, let's do our thought of the day. Continuing Paticca Samuppada, starting cessation. I don't think we're going to break this down in the same way because I've already gone over the specifics, and this is just the reverse. So all right, so I think maybe we'll do half. Page 65. Avidjaya tveva esesa viraga niroda sankara nirodo sankara niroda vinyana nirodo vinyana niroda namarupa nirodo namarupa niroda salayatana nirodo salayatana niroda pasa nirodo. Through the entire cessation of this ignorance, volitional formations cease. Through the cessation of volitional formations, consciousness ceases. Through the cessation of consciousness, mentality and materiality cease. Through the cessation of mentality and materiality, the sixfold base ceases. Through the cessation of the sixfold base, contact ceases. All right. Okay. Morning, friends. So we have been going over dependent origination, how things arise. Now we're going to go over how they cease. And at the beginning, when I was doing dependent origination, I spoke to you guys about how ignorance is the linchpin. You know, a linchpin is something that holds things together. You pull out the linchpin and it all falls apart. I like to think of it as dominoes. That's kind of like the vision that I had in, years ago, having insights into this. So that first domino is ignorance. And, you watch the people make these grand, elaborate domino things, but all they have to do is just push over the one, just like that. And then the rest of it just falls. And that's ignorance. When we have no more ignorance, when our avidya has ceased, then that is the beginning of the disintegration, the cessation of the rest. With no more ignorance, no more sankharas, no more intentional actions. With no more intentions or kama or thoughts, or not thoughts, intentional mental actions. Then no more namarupa, name and form. And I skipped over consciousness. With no more sankharas, no more consciousness. And no more consciousness, no more name and form. Those two are interlinked. They can't exist without each other. Consciousness and name and form. No more name and form, no more body, then no more six senses. No more six senses, then no more contact. There's also no more consciousness, right? Remember, we need consciousness to have that contact. The meeting of the three is contact. And so we see this disintegration. We see this literally disintegration. We see the dominoes falling. And this dependent cessation is so important. Most people, when they teach this, what you're seeing here on this page, 99 times out of 100 in the suttas, when the Buddha talks about dependent origination, he also talks about dependent cessation in the same sutta. But it's rarely taught that way. Right? Like the graphics only have dependent origination, and the teachings usually only dependent origination. But when you know the suttas, you see that these two are interlinked. Arising, ceasing. What arises must cease. When the arising of this comes the arising of that. With the ceasing of this comes the ceasing of that. That is dependent origination. And dependent cessation. Paticca samuppada. So we can reflect on today the linchpin that keeps us in this samsaric state, the domino of ignorance. And how once that falls, then the rest come with it. Tomorrow we'll finish up with the rest of it. Because once you have a body, once you have namarupa, the rest just come. You can't escape the rest. So friends, I wish you a very spiritually successful and peaceful day. Sukhi Hotu, may you be happy. Practice well and be well. See you tomorrow. Sanchez, welcome. Okay.